Hello everyone, my name is Jorge, I'm Chilean. I want to share with you an experience from my childhood that has stayed with me over the years. Growing up in a small town in Chile, I spent most of my time exploring with my siblings. We were always curious, eager to uncover the mysteries that surrounded our home. One particular summer, we stumbled upon an old, abandoned house at the edge of the forest. The locals often spoke of it being haunted, but we were drawn to it, intrigued by the stories and eager for adventure. Little did we know, our visit would lead to an encounter with the spectral figure of a woman, forever changing how we viewed the world around us. We found enormous stones so large that we couldn't move them, only some of the smaller ones. Soon after, we discovered black soil and long pieces of iron. Driven by curiosity, we were eager to find out what lay beneath. Under a mound, we found sacks and bags among the stones. We were startled. A cemetery, my older brother said as he used one of the iron pieces to tear open a sack. We all stared at what was inside, something black. We opened it completely and realized it was filled with black feathers, many black feathers, and at the bottom what seemed like bird bones. Strangely, the feathers were in perfect condition, as if they hadn't been buried there for who knows how long. We emptied the sack and the soil around it was very black. What we found was a bird, a raven known locally as a carrion crow, and we assumed the sack was full of them. As we examined the scattered remains, we suddenly heard a whistle in the distance. It was our mother calling us for dinner. It was 6 in the evening, and when Mom gave an order, it was law, so we ran quickly through the grove to get home and told our parents what we had discovered. My grandfather was upset and said, "I don't like you tearing the ground apart, stop digging holes." After dinner, as it was getting dark, my mom told us to go fetch the tools we had left behind as they could be stolen. Obviously, none of us wanted to go, so she sent the 2 oldest. We grabbed some sacks to bring back some of the things we had found and set off quickly as it was getting very dark. The stream had become very large and covered everything we had discovered. The earth had settled again, erasing the progress we had made with our digging, leaving only a large pond in its place. We waded into the water with boots, gathered all the floating tools, which were wooden handles, and continued walking back. I should clarify that my brother was 7 and I was 6 years old. We walked through the grove and saw movement in the largest tree. "Is someone there?" "Wait," my brother said, grabbing my arm. We stood still, and seconds later, we heard someone groaning behind one of the trees. We began to walk very slowly, dragging the sacks as we approached and saw what seemed to be white cloths. Then we saw a woman tied to the tree, completely drenched, her hair, her clothes, which were a kind of white gown, and her hair. They didn't scold us or reprimand us, they just calmed us down. I think they hesitated to believe what we had seen was real because they could see our distress. My grandfather simply said that the next day at dawn, he would go retrieve the items. Later we learned that he had recovered the sacks, and after that, the stream flooded and it rained for several days. Meanwhile, we only left the house to go to school during the week. We always remembered what happened that day, and now that I'm 30 years old, I still haven't returned. Today the place is overgrown with bushes and dense trees, and we believe that day we uncovered something buried there, something significant. The woman I recall was very wet, and perhaps she emerged from that place, perhaps we freed her. These are just suppositions and we'll never know what truly happened. When I watched the movie The Ice Cream Man, it reminded me a lot of what I experienced as a child. This story might not be very frightening, but it's real, it's not a myth or something told to me. If I were to dig there today, I don't know what we would find beneath. It could be indigenous constructions or perhaps a cemetery. On another occasion, I'll share more stories from my family in that region. Greetings from